People, deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all well and safe. Good afternoon to those of you in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on who you are and wherever you are in this world. I hope you're all doing well and safe. You know, it's Wednesday. We're at the halfway point of such of the week. Hope you're having a good week. Hope you're making progress in that regards to whatever goals, aspirations, and dreams you had. If you haven't got there, just think about how closer you are to that than you was 24 hours ago or yesterday. Like I said, good afternoon. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. I hope you're doing well and safe. I needed a water, people. It's been a productive day for me. You know, I've spent the day doing a lot of other like life admin, personal admin that I need to get to, things that can take Deluded forward, speaking indirectly with certain people, and actually putting in a hell of hours on Photoshop. And you can see the thumbnail at this moment is not the greatest, but like I said, I'm closer to where I was than I was yesterday. So yeah, big up everybody locked in. Big up the Twitch gang, of course. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. I see 16 of you in here, so there should be 16 likes, people. It isn't hard at that point. As usual, I struggle to always make sure my Twitch manager, so I can obviously look after the Twitch stream, isn't working, or I haven't got it up. So let me make sure I've got it up, people. Here we go. Apologies for that, Twitch gang. I'm aware of everything you guys are doing now. Moving away from that, people, you know, big up everybody in the comments. I hope you're doing well and safe. Like WF said, I hope you're well, my guy. Smash the like button. I'm good, Cam. I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, I've got my health. There isn't much more that I can ask for, man. TB is just simply saying people, and big up the flag you're using as well. Jay saying, DG, it's been a minute, you know. Yeah, I ain't seen you in a sec, man. But yeah, he was probably busy and things. Nice to have you back. So let's crack on with stuff, people. First and foremost, before we get into the bulk of it, people, let me share my screen. I'm sure you've all seen this as well, people. There's been a lot of talk in relation to where, not just us, but where a lot of teams, particularly the ones in England, will be playing their European ties. As you lot know, all different whole heap of countries are reacting to this worldwide pandemic in different ways. They've all got their own laws. They've all got their own lists and things like that. And obviously, it's going to further complicate things, especially for Arsenal. When I look at it right now, people, we're playing Benfica in 2 different countries. When we factor in, we'll be playing people in 2 different countries. And obviously, the club have people to do it, but we need to get players from A to B. There's a lot of traveling sandwiched in between the Europa League. You've got Manchester City as well. So it is going to be quite a tough ask, more so than we already knew, both from a sporting point and everything. And this is why, you know, depth is an important thing, and you need everybody at Arsenal Football Club collectively, all of those 25 players, to stand up to be counted, people. We're going to get onto the Aaron Ramsey business in a sec, man. G-Med, I see you. But, you know, if you don't know already, Arsenal's Europa League last 32 matches with Benfica are set for neutral venues due to the UK's coronavirus protocols, and Portugal got their own thing. We've got our own thing. As you lot can see, people, Benfica's home leg will be played on February the 18th in Italy at the Stadio Olimpico. Arsenal's home leg looks set to be played on February the 25th in Greece, people. So we've got Greece and Italy to play a Portuguese side. So it's going to be crazy. Obviously, the away goals rule will remain in use. So whoever's playing as the home side in the first leg, you know, you're the home side, and so on and so forth. Both legs of Arsenal's Europa League last 32 tie against Benfica is set to be played at neutral venues in order to satisfy UK coronavirus restrictions. As you lot know, I'm not going to bore you, but the UK is implementing its own sort of thing, and there's rules around people entering from Portugal. So yeah, UEFA have confirmed it. I believe us, Manchester City and Liverpool have all seen things change. I'm pretty sure United as well. As you lot can see here, people, Manchester United's first leg will be played against Sociedad, will be played in the Turin at Juventus's ground, where if you're Liverpool and Manchester City, you'll be going to Bulgaria, Budapest. Forgive me if my geography is poor. And we go to Italy temporarily, and we'll also be going to Greece and things. So it is what it is in that regards, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. There's 57 of you in here. Moving away from that, though, people, and again, before we get into the Aaron Ramsey stuff, and I know a lot of you are saying stuff, we're in a worldwide pandemic. Yeah, we're in a worldwide pandemic. It's going to be there's a lot of problems in that regards, and sadly, people are losing jobs. As you can see here, Arsenal supporters expressed concern over prospect of further staff redundancies at the Emirates Stadium, reports Simon Collins. Arsenal supporters group have united to urge the club to reconsider making supporter liaison officer Mark Brindle redundant amid the prospect of further job cuts at the Emirates Stadium. as you lot know, people, we have our, the bulk of our first team and Mikel Arteta had wage cuts, and we thought this was it. I don't want to see somebody lose their job. So yeah, it's nice to see that the supporters group and whatnot are going around that and trying to prevent that from happening. Especially someone like Brindle, who's worked in a number of roles for the club and things like that. They've apparently written to Vinay to urge the prospect of not getting rid of him. So yeah, thoughts are with everybody in this pandemic who is losing their job and things like that. But away from that, people, let's get into it now. Again, this comes via Toto Juventus, and again, this is coming out of several Italian reports and whatnot, people. Now, for what it's worth, I don't believe Aaron Ramsey is a prospect of Arsenal's, or we're looking at him, but courtesy of Italian reports, much less put here, Mikel Arteta will try to tempt former Arsenal man Aaron Ramsey back to the Emirates this summer. And of course, it's one of them, as I can see in the comments, it's a tricky one depending on where you sit. I'm more against it than I am for it, but if it happened, it wouldn't be the end of the world, if that makes sense, people. In a sense of why I'm against it is because you can have players that are past 30. I'm not one of these ages players, but you're going to bring him in. I assume he's going to play I'd assume he's coming to play with Partey in the pivot, maybe even in the 10. But in an ideal world, and assuming we didn't bring anyone and just brought Ramsey, you'd have Aaron Ramsey and Partey, Smith Rowe ahead. And, that makes sense. So if you're going to get him on loan as a short-term sort of thing, I get that. But for me, it's a bit like currently with David Luiz playing the key role, with Aubameyang to a different degree. It's like eventually you're going to have to replace these players. And I think there is a case to get it done in terms of longevity. And he's 30, turning 31. He ain't got more years in the tank. Admittedly, if he could help us for now, for the next 2 or 3 years, and allow us to consistently become a top 4 club again, of course, we're all for that. Obviously, it's Aaron Ramsey. We know what he's won at this club. We know he's Premier League proven, but so there are some reasons to be for it, people. It could help us, and if we can't bring in someone that's got a bit more longevity, someone that knows the league, knows the club, knows the fans and things like that, it's someone that he hasn't got time to waste, so you want him to hit the ground running. Temporarily, it's someone that could help us for a couple of years as we scout long-term targets. Now, for me, I'm not really for it because it's going to be costly. I for what it's worth, I just think this article is just nonsense, and it's easy. Since the moment Aaron Ramsey went there to Juventus, there's been moments he's been in the team, been out of the team. When he's out of the team, he's always linked with a move to Arsenal or elsewhere. You heard a lot of clubs weren't down for paying his wages. If you are going to bring back Aaron Ramsey, I definitely don't feel he's going to be another Willian. Let's put some respect on Aaron Ramsey, man. He's never. I do think he'd be a success. I do think he'd hit the ground running. I do think it'd be Aaron Ramsey, but I don't think it makes sense. Like I said, I'm not ageist. I don't care about how old he is, but he's turning 31. That middle of the park, you've got Partey in his right page. You need to get someone with a couple more years left in the game ahead of them, really. We all know, I'm not the one to speak about it, but Ramsey's wages as well. That's a big reason as to why many clubs passed on it. Whether Arsenal offered him the wages or he wanted them wages, we hear a lot of conflicting reports. But you've got the wages. If you take him permanently, we're going to have to pay a fee. What would you imagine? 20 million at minimum. So you're going to have to take 20 million and pay his wages. And he's going to have to want we'd imagine, because he loves Arsenal and things, you'd take home less wages. But let's be honest, he's 30 years of age. You can't really be doing them sort of things, pandemic or not. So he's going to want his wages. He's going to want a decent contract. He's not going to, if I'm him, I'm not accepting 2 years. I'm trying to get a 3 or a 4. I'll say, hang on a minute, William got a 3-year deal. I want 4. I'm Aaron Ramsey. I'm doing you a favor coming from Juventus. I feel in terms of wages, in terms of any wages and loan fee, any permanent fee for the player, I just think it won't be worth it because, again, his injury record. And again, look what's happening with Partey. It's two different things, but Partey's been in this team 2 minutes after never getting injured, and he seems to never be able to recover from his injury. So I'm inclined to believe there's something we're doing wrong with our player care. So again, you can imagine what happens in terms of Juventus. In terms of Ramsey leaving Juventus and coming back to Arsenal, I'd be more open to it if we can get a decent loan in terms of the fee, pay some of his wages. I wouldn't mind it, not pay fully, up to 40%, anything, and give them a little loan fee. I wouldn't be against that, but I just think we should move on from Aaron Ramsey, and it should just stop there. He's been a good serviceman for our club. It is what it is. We should have got some money for the signing of Aaron Ramsey, but it is what it is, people, in relation to Ramsey. I just think we've got to leave that one. I'm not too sure if Mikel Arteta really does want him. again, you'd imagine at Juventus, I'd say the only thing I see lacking with Juventus is probably a couple of super players, you know, the Kylian Mbappes, the Haalands, you know, that Neymar, this sort of ilk. If they were to go for these players, you'd imagine they have to free up funds from somewhere, and Ramsey could be a makeway in such. So, you know, Ramsey could be getting sold, we'll never know. But I just feel because of his record of injuries, because of, you know, as good as Ramsey is, I'm not too sure over a 38-game period he's ever consistently been 100% good for Arsenal. As much as I love him, he's had some great moments, you know, but over a 38-game period, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't mind it in terms of being a short-term fix, at 18-month, 2 years sort of thing, if we can get a loan sorted. You know, I definitely feel if this Welshman returned back to North London, he'd do better than his countrymen at that other club, that other toilet seat down the lane, down the place at the lane. But you know, I just think this is nonsense. It's not going to happen. It is what it is firmly in that regard. The door is shut in relation to Aaron Ramsey. The relationship that Arsenal and Aaron Ramsey had is over, people. It's simple. It's as simple as that, you know. And there's no shame in that at all. You know, there's absolutely no shame in that. Good thing. Everything has to come to an end soon. So in relation to Aaron Ramsey, I just think that's worse. Should we look at in terms of his injury record just to see, people? Like I said, he's 31 this year, to be fair, at the end of the year. This year he's been subjected to 14 appearances, 20 in all comps, 2 goals, 3 assists. Now, I'd more want him to come back and be a pivot man rather than a box-to-box. Obviously, he bring goals and he could be a box-to-box man and things like that. But I just think with his maturity, he's got to play slightly deeper and learn when to time it. And I don't think that's going to happen if he did sign for Arsenal. As you lot can see, he's hardly set the world alight at Juventus. He's had good moments. He's actually won them a lot of points. But he's nothing more than a bit part rotation player at best at Juventus as an outsider looking in. Sporadically, 6 goals, 4 assists in 55 appearances. You know, be keen to see how many of them are 90 minutes. Hardly sets the world on fire, people. This year, he's only had a couple of muscle injuries at the start of the season. He's currently out now. But in between that, he's played some solid minutes this season, really. So I'm not too sure in terms of injuries. Let's look at his last season. I do think he had more injuries last season than this. So let's see. In fact, this one, Ramsey was gone by now. So, yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, as you can see, couple of weeks in the Champions League, he still made 35 appearances in all competitions, 24 in the league, 6 in the Champions League, getting 4 goals, 1 assist. Hardly sure Aaron Ramsey has given Juventus return on maybe not a loan fee, but the wages he's commanding. So again, you don't want to get stuck with this. I do think Juventus be open to selling, but it wouldn't make sense. And he has been offered to Spurs, apparently, you know, with what Spurs have done with Doherty and bringing back Bale, when Bale's not looking like the Bale he was, you know. I'm sure they've got to rework their own practices, in which Ramsey's probably a big risk. And at a time where resources could be put elsewhere, is it necessarily the thing? Of course not. So yeah, he's plagued by injuries in the early weeks in the Champions League, and he did have a number of issues and injuries, as you could see throughout the season in Italy, people, and he was subjected to the bench. That being said, when fit, he gave you a little run. It's just, for me, from what I remember about Aaron Ramsey, he's not consistently good for 38 games, you know, and I think we need someone like that. I would take Ramsey back. Again, if it's a loan, a sort of cheapest loan, I'm all for that. I'm not for bringing the player back in a permanent capacity. If he came back, you know, it would just scream that we don't have a plan, that, again, we're being reactive, because he's a player that, based on what we're told, has 1 foot out of the door at Juventus, and he doesn't scream longevity, because, again, let's just say David Luiz is given a new deal. Lacazette is given a new deal. Willian is kept on, you know. Aubameyang, with all due respect to Aubameyang, he's a bit different because he's been scoring goals historically. But, you know, this doesn't scream longevity. We scream, you know, we want to get players with resale value, players of tomorrow, players that can be part of this team for a best part of a decade. It doesn't scream that. Now, of course, we're falling behind. We're 10th, maybe less than that now. So we need players who can do it now. So if, you know, in theory, if these players I've named can help us right now, it's cool. But for me, it just further clouds me as a fan. As a fan, it clouds my mind, in that what we're trying to do is that I see a couple young players brought in. I see a couple man brought out from Hale End. Then I'm seeing some other players. I'm not really seeing the philosophy. Of course, you can't. I'm not saying to have 25 young players. I'm not saying to have 25 old players. I'm saying obviously you need a blend. You need a couple ones to do it elsewhere to get at people. But I just think it would further complicate fans, and then eventually you're stuck. And again, if you was to take Ramsey on a permanent basis, you know, considering you've just got rid of Mesut Ozil, Mustafi, the rest of it, I assume Ramsey didn't take a wage cut. It would be 1 step forward and 2 steps back in that, regardless what you say about the player. you'd be giving him high wages, and again it would be modeling up the structure, when again we're in trouble for that already. And the one sort of hope you have is that with what we've done now, we can kind of set a new target. You know, we can in a way use what's happened in our mismanagement of wages and everything else and transfer fees as sort of what we don't want to do, and start anew. And it doesn't make sense if you, for me, after doing what you've done in January and on paper what is to happen in the summer with people's contracts running out, if you bring back Aaron Ramsey, of course I love the guy as a footballer, but it is what it is, people. Unless they're giving us a free loan and we're barely paying his wages, like 10, 20%, 40 max, it's all a myth for me. It shouldn't make sense, people. It's as simple as that, people. So that's all I've got to say in relation to Aaron Ramsey, people. Just making a quick timestamp. Sorry, people. So yeah, what are you guys saying in relation to Aaron Ramsey? Is it April the 1st already? Trust me, my guy. Man are saying that boat has sailed, my guy. We don't need Ramsey back. Facts, you know. It's not that we don't need him, because I do think we could use him, but I fully agree with the first part. The boat sailed, it's gone. It is what it is. It's finished now. You know, it's gone. To be fair, you know, he does his thing. He's had hot and cold moments. I don't think Ramsey's been consistently good at Juventus, really. Aaron Ramsey is past his prime and hasn't maintained full fitness. I want fresh blood with aspirations. Fair play. 31, hasn't played much, injury proven. I don't know. We are past him now. We have to move on and sign something for the future. No offense, but Aaron Ramsey left on a free. Now you paying to get him back. Something wrong with the process. Facts. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. You know, please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Big up yourself, M in the building. If we could do a straight swap with Willian, that would be perfect. To be fair with you, I'm all for that, you know. Say what you want about Aaron Ramsey. I'd rather deal with any frustrations Aaron Ramsey might come with than Willian. But for me, wages, longevities, injury proneness, and consistency over a 38-game period, these are enough reasons to stay clear of Aaron Ramsey. You know, I don't, for me, if you once again, if Aaron Ramsey signed, that's a reactive thing for me, because again, he probably has one foot out the door. You know, you didn't have to force a signing. Very few signings I feel Arsenal are signing that really show me what we're trying to do. The half of them are just reactive. They've got one foot out the door, with the exception of Pepe and Gabriel at the times of their signings, because, you know, Leo's a bit of a selling club, which probably ties into what I'm saying, people. So is what it is. Dermot, I fully agree with you, bro. It only seems to be Arsenal being linked with former players, really and truly. You know, it's silly. It's silly. You know, Cam has said it great here. 400k wages, poor injury record, wrong side of 20. Ramsey is done. Wonderful player at his peak. You know, I do think you can sign players that are 30 plus. I do think there's exceptions to the rules. I don't think Ramsey will be as bad as some people are making out, but it's a myth. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Come on, man. How can there only be 68 likes, man? Come on, can we at least get that to 100? Lord Voldemort has said you are FM FIFA. You are FIFA or FM. I've got FIFA in that, but it's an FM thing 9 times out of 10. So do you think in your lifetime right now that Arsenal win the Premier League or Champions League? Bit of a random question, but I'd like to hope so. I do think we'll win the Premier League again in my lifetime. I'm 25 years of age. As for Champions League, I don't know. Bit harsh, but kind of true. Ramsey is the poster boy for Arsenal inconsistency. Boy, it's facts, man. It's facts. It's facts. It's facts. Absolute facts. And like R. Samuels is saying, smacks a little lack of direction and strategy, chasing Ramsey instead of prioritizing the Szoboszlai, Samores. Well, to be fair, the Szoboszlai one or boat appears gone, but I do agree with what you're saying, my guy. A man said, would you get rid of Lacazette for Ivan Toney from Brentford, smashing it with 22 in the Championship? I like him. I've done a video about him. I like him. I do think he's done enough to probably someone to take a chance on him, people. Admittedly, I'm not sold, as in, no, I'd rather just do some other scouting sort of thing, get what money you can for Lacazette and keep it moving. Yeah, I wouldn't mind him in the squad, but I don't think he for what I want to see the club move to, I don't think currently, and again, my opinion is subject to change, but I don't think on the 10th of February he ties into that. Good player. I'm not too sure for his general play. He does try, but I don't know if it's to the level. I'm not too sure for his intelligence, and I think against Spurs he showed a lack of intelligence, but yeah, it is what it is in that regards. So yeah, I would probably look to sell Lacazette outright and do something else. You are right, he did used to play for Newcastle after being signed from Northampton, and then I think I found that really started taking him in at Peterborough, and now he's doing his thing at Brentford, and Brentford are some hustlers. They're going to make peas on him. You know, to be fair with you, Newcastle, I'm not too sure if they missed them, but you've got Tony doing all right. You've got Adam Armstrong doing all right. Forget about making that first team level. That could have been peas for them, really and truly. WFS, a quick question, DG. What do you reckon about Mavropanos doing a great job apparently in the German league? He's a big unit. Do we give the lad a chance? Him and Saliba, big units. Well, you know, it's what I want to see if Mavropanos comes back is that, you know, do you really look someone that's got experience now? Because there were times that you could Watford away, Leicester sending off, I believe, Crystal Palace at home, where he showed his inexperience. I think showing that you've improved, and obviously for him is staying fit. He's had a couple injuries at Stuttgart, but he had a good game against Mainz. He's done all right generally. You know, he had a good, you know, injuries kind of ruined him at Nuremberg last season as well, but he's got his feet wet. You know, for me again, I don't know if he's going to be able to prove he's a starting quality, but I do think he deserves at least pre-season to show he can be utilized. Me personally, I want to, you know, if he doesn't make it here, let's make some peas on him. He signed a new contract. So, you know, we've got to do things like this. Not every young player has to make it at Arsenal. Can they make profit for the team? Who knows? Because there's a lot of question marks over the centre halves. And off the top of my head, the only right now, you know, you could probably say just because they're the new guys, Marie, Saliba and Gabriel, they're the centre halves for next season and beyond. I know with what's been going on with Saliba, many people said Arsenal might just say, you know what, let's sell Donny. But you've got them three. You'd probably you know, Holding's played his way into plans allegedly. So you've got them four now. You'd imagine a new centre half is brought in. So that's five. Of course, if he came and showed what he could do in the season, in pre-season and things, that can complicate things. But there's probably about five centre halves or four on paper. Maybe if one's brought in, five before you even talk about Mavropanos. And, you know, it might be a case of another loan, but he deserves the opportunity to at least show what he's on. You know, it could even be a thing where Arteta says, I want Saliba to be ready, but he might turn around and say, Saliba, you're not ready. Mavropanos, you are. You're part of first team. You're part of the first team for this year, next season. We'll have to see. For me, I just want to see a healthy profit within reason and context made on Mavropanos if he doesn't make it here. But to have any chance, he's got to stay fit, fully fit. So yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards. Please keep the comments coming. Please keep the comments coming. You've asked me what I believe about the Saliba situation. You're gonna have to go back to my other live streams, my guy. Yesterday we spoke about them. Done 2 videos on that, so I'm not gonna go over that again. Dan Price has said, if 40 million comes in for Saliba in the summer, do we sell? Personally, I think the club would sell if 30 million comes in, just based on the new stuff we're hearing. They might say, you know what, let's go and get someone else. You know, I would have loved Fofana as well. You know, Jules Conde's being linked with Bear clubs. When he was at Bordeaux, we should have went with him. But maybe just based off the reports, maybe Arsenal could say, you know what, we've got a lot to focus on. Allow it. You know, let's just write our hands off Saliba. So I could say on one hand, yes. For me, no, because it would suck that after they made so much hype about him, to not even get a look in would be a shame. But money talks, you know. Money talks. Anything can happen. Guendouzi probably won't get 40 million. We paid like 7, 8, 9 million for him, maybe 10 max. Anything around that region or above it with a sell-on clause, the club might say, okay, he's got potential to be a full French international, but we can get a sell-on clause and there's still a handsome profit. Personally, I wouldn't want to sell Smith Rowe for 40 million at this moment in time. I like him. I think he's really stepped up. I do think people in relation to his injuries are overdoing it. You know, he hurt his shoulder in pre-season. I know I'm not saying you, and you're right, there has been injuries, but he hurt his shoulder, you know, and he has had a couple of knocks. We've got to be wary of labeling someone as injury prone, but you have to acknowledge he has had some, but I wouldn't sell him. I guess Guendouzi is a genuine question, and as is Saliba. But if it was down to me as the man, if you're asking what I think we do, I think Guendouzi stays. Sold. I think Smith Rowe stays. I think Saliba stays, but based on numerous reports, you know, the sort of stuff, he could be someone that is moved on. We'll have to see. A man said a Leeds United preview coming out. Allow me, brother. It's Wednesday. We play on Sunday. You know you're going to get that one of these days. I'm aiming for tomorrow. You'll get it by Friday, max. You know I like to give you 2 days. Sometimes a day, but 2 days max to let it gel in and stuff. You'll get that, Kieran. Trust me, man. Mikel Arteta out. Not for me. You know, I'm not at the stage where I'm going to proclaim Mikel Arteta as the Messiah. I'm not at the stage where it's pitchforks for him, you know. But I it's a bit of a weird one, really. Enrico has said, Deluded, what do you think Nketiah's ceiling is? I look at Akpom and the fact he went abroad to Greece. Do you think Nketiah should do the same and go abroad? Well, he had a couple of loan spells in between that. It's down to Nketiah. Nketiah could surprise people. I think he started surprising. I think he surprised me to a degree already. When he came back on loan. Personally, I think he's got Premier League. I think he can be a Premier League striker. I don't know what level. When I say Premier League striker, I'm not talking about 20 league goals. I don't think he can be that, but he might surprise you. I don't think that's his level. I think he can have a career in the Premier League at a club, but it's down to him. I don't really know his ceiling, but I don't think it's that high. Not that it matters. He's already doing a lot. He's probably doing a lot more than people expected him to do already, and that he's just simply a Premier League footballer already. So I don't know. I really don't know. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. Please make sure you're hitting that like button. Keep the questions coming. We've spoken about Aaron Ramsey. We've spoken about whatever you lot are asking me. Please stop spamming. Please stop spamming. Questions won't get answered any quicker if you spam. It will not happen. Moving away from that though quickly and speaking about something, let me share my screen again. Another day, another link for Balogun, people. So yeah, as you lot can all see here, Balogun's been linked with Man United and Juventus, people. And you can imagine everybody, listen, for Balogun, if you're going to leave, pick the right club. Don't just pick a club for its prestige. Pick the club that has the best plan for you. I'm not going to go over everything. Please check out my other videos. We're over it now, innit? Going to Juventus, another country, training with those sort of superstars. Technically, if he's even in the B team, I don't agree with it, but if he's in the B team, he's playing in Serie B, so that's technically men's football versus under 23s or whatnot. I think if you're going to go to an Italian team, you should go to the smaller ones. You should look to Germany. There's even a couple of other teams in England you could go to. Whoever's got the best pathway for you for the next 12 months, 24 months, and beyond that. He's been linked as a target for Juventus. Of course, Juventus. Again, he's someone that can help their youth team. He's someone that could have resale value. He's someone that they could have big plans for. I think it's worse for what it is, people. But as you lot see here, Balogun has emerged as a target for Juventus while his contract runs down, according to reports. As things stand, as you lot know, he's set to become a free agent in the summer. Not going to read it all out to you, but it's not said anything of relevance. And when you look at Don Ballon, who I don't think are the most prolific publication, actually didn't hyperlink me to a website, so there's no point speaking about that. So again, I'm not too sure for the publisher if there's any credibility in it. I do think he's more likely to join Leipzig, as previously stated, and it's just simply saying the same old. Now, if Balogun wants to leave. That's it. That's all I can say, man. Just leave. If we need players who want to be here. I feel sorry for him. It's difficult when other people are getting opportunities and you're not, especially there's been times Aubameyang's not been in the squad. We're allowed 9 subs now. We're at where we're at. So good luck on your future, Balogun. I hope he stays, but in relation to Balogun and Juventus, I'm not too sure on the credibility of that. If you lot remember, Mavididi did go to Juventus as well, and he learned a lot, I assume, obviously training with Ronaldo. And I think he's been at Dijon. I'm sure he's been at Montpellier as well. I could be wrong. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens, man. It's for him and his agent, people, really and truly. But you'd probably have to field a lot of offers. So we'll have to see, but I'm done in relation to that. And also, if you keep up the Balogun thing, people, he's actually been nominated for the Premier League 2 award, people. I think this is the second month this season he's been nominated for that, people. As you lot can see here, Balogun has been nominated for January's Premier League 2 Player of the Month award. As you lot know, he scored a hat-trick against Brighton. He captained us in the 1-1 draw in the North London derby. Didn't stand out the most, but he joins, there's quite a good list of players, people. This guy bagged against us. Louis Barry's been doing well at Aston Villa. Joe Hugel, since signing from Sunderland, going to Man United, has been well. Reece Hughes, I don't know too much about him, but I hear good things. Same goes for Jacob here. And whatnot. Need to do my research on the Reading lad. But yeah, we'll have to see, people. The panel will select a winner, so it's not like us Arsenal fans can spam it up for Balogun. But, I think this is his last season here on paper, innit? It's not that I think, it's just that's all you can see on paper. So we'll have to see what happens, man. But I definitely hope he can win that award. So that's that in relation to Balogun, people. Bro, that's the thing with these academy young players, people need to stop wanking over it, people, like over these players. He could very well become Balogun, the Premier League superstar, sick player, all of these things. He could very well become a flop. Now, for me personally, I want him to be a top player for Arsenal Football Club. If he leaves, listen, I love my football club, but I look at it on a non-biased thing. I personally, if I'm his advisors, I'm telling him to leave personally, people. I want him to go somewhere where he's closer to the first team, personally, people. I want him to stay. It is what it is. He might be a star, he might not. My problem is more with Arsenal because we've been reactive. We should have dealt with this in the summer. You know, he probably should be on loan. I said it in the summer when I did my reviews. You know, from pre-season games, you could see he's wasting time here at 23's level. All his age mates have gone. We'll have to see what happens, man. We'll have to see what happens. Hopefully, there's other young players in and around the team that can take advantage of such. But in relation to Balogun, that's that, people. That is that. If we move away quickly, people, it's nothing new. It's nothing new. But in a sense of Fabrizio Romano has been speaking in relation to Guendouzi and whatnot. And we already know this, people. We already know there has to be a meeting with the advisors, the players, and Arteta over their futures. You know, you can't. It's different because Herrera, I mean, what's his face? El Nene wasn't loaned out by Mikel Arteta, but you know, what's his name? It looked like it looked like El Nene was out of this club and he had a little mini way back into this team. So you can't rule out Torreira or Guendouzi. Personally, I don't know who's more realistic to have in the future here. You know, I could say Torreira because, you know, Torreira doesn't appear that he's had some sort of bust up with the management. So, it's just been he's just not acclimatized to the country and things. Things can change. So I don't know. But on the other hand, I think it more so could be Guendouzi because he's younger, because, you know, he never had problems adapting. It was just balancing out his attitude, and maybe a year away, becoming a father now can put things into perspective, because I'm sure, you know, it's been a lot to take in. He's gone from playing in the second division in France to playing week in, week out under Unai Emery. So maybe he's had to rein it in a bit and getting called up to the French team indirectly. So I have small hope. Like you can see here, he's made 15 appearances. He started 13 games, people, for Hertha Berlin, and he still needs to improve defensively, but already he's assuming the leadership position. So for me, I like him. He's got resale value. He's got leadership. I think Guendouzi can be a player for us. It's just there's something in Guendouzi. I think he can be a real player. I don't think he's ever going to be a midfielder that we're accustomed to in England that's going to get bare goals, bare assists. He's more of a cultured sort of player. I think Guendouzi's an Arsenal player. You know, I think he's a player. He typifies everything that Arsene Wenger brought to this football club and everything he looked for in a technical ability. You know, there's a lot, as you can see here, people. It's so mad. Every man in this video, in this picture, isn't here anymore, or they're all away temporarily, and all their futures are subjective to whatever. You know, there could be a future. It's not, life isn't FIFA, people, but there could be a future. All of them are sold. You know, let's just say Joe Willock bads it up at Newcastle. They say we'll give you 20 million. You know, and a sell-on clause, 20+ million. Who in this live chat is going to sell Joe Willock? Who is going to say no? Me personally, I like Joe Willock, and he might turn out to be an even top player, maybe an England international and all of those things. But if I get offered 20-odd million for Joe Willock, I'm not going to sit here and cap to you guys, people. I'm entertaining that one day. You know, if we can get our money back for Torreira, I would like to. I'm Torreira FC. I was heartbroken when he left. You know, you won't get bigger Torreira fans than me. My guy Burner always gets on to me with that. But because it is what it is. But if we can make our 20-odd million back on Torreira, even if the other team's paying us paying it up for 50 years, I'd entertain it. Guendouzi's the one I really don't want to leave. But again, and I do think he's going to be a France international, a sort of household name in football of sorts. I'm not saying he's going to be world class in that. So Arsenal stand to lose out to a degree. But same way, people, Arsenal might look at it and say, do you know what? We bought him for up to 9-10 million. We can make a little profit. He's got a year left. Now, ideally, you'd love, you know, 2 of the 3 probably gone. I think Joe Willock will stay. You know, there is every case that, you know, he stays on loan again at Newcastle or goes somewhere else. Because when you get a taste of regular football, I'm sure he doesn't want to go back or won't want to go back to, you know, not really being the guy. And unless he has a miracle of a season at Newcastle, he's not going to be anything more than a rotation option. In an ideal world, you'd love all 3 of them to come back as top players. You know, they'd all be, you know, if they're all top players, it would somewhat solve our midfield issues. Because for me, I'm very concerned with Arsenal's midfield, because there's so much uncertainty. There's on the face of it, we've got Smith Rowe. You know, Smith Rowe can do his little thing in the 10 long term as an 8. We've got Partey. But I'm very concerned because, you know, since Partey's come to this club, he's really struggled for fitness and playing 90 minutes. And we all know Partey's probably the one player out of all the midfield. I'm sure some man will say, sell Guendouzi, sell Torreira, sell Joel, keep this guy, do that. Everyone will say different things, but I'm sure the one constant would be Partey, who plays with Partey. I think, you know, we need someone of Torreira's profile to play with Partey, and if Partey isn't there. But it's scary, people, because we ain't got a partner for Partey. We ain't got no depth if Partey's there, isn't there. And for me, you know, when you consider Partey's fitness, which I hope there's some confirmation over it, he can prove his long-term fitness, but Partey's fitness, Odegaard and Ceballos are not our players. They're on loan, so they're returning. And then you've got Guendouzi, Torreira, Joe Willock. He's not involved in that picture, but Maitland-Niles, that's bare guys that can play in midfield. No confirmation over none. You know, I'm sure every Arsenal fan is begging for one central midfielder, an 8 or a 6, if it's not going to be a 10 in the summer. I personally think we need 2. You know, I think we need a creative man. We need a number 6. You know, we need at least 3 good options in midfield. And I think even that ain't enough. So if we can get 2 in, Joe Willock can come and be a body. Hopefully something could be done. I'm not too sure. But the club has a decision to make. In theory, you know, you could say Guendouzi comes back, Torreira comes back, Joe's gone, Maitland-Niles is gone, Maitland and Joe come back, them man are sold, Maitland and Guendouzi come back, Joe and Torreira are gone, you know. The young ones go are kept and Torreira goes. There's a bag of combinations. You could say life isn't FIFA, but you could imagine all of them being sold as well, in which I do think we, in terms of bodies, we'd be selling ourselves short. But then if you could sell these 3 and also Maitland-Niles for handsome fees or respectable fees, and then you can go and get a real quality option to play with Partey, a real quality 6 to play ahead of Partey, and do what you can, whether that's promoting Miguel Aziz or doing something else. I'm sure many fans will, you know, we can make up our face about Joe come from the academy, Guendouzi, unfulfilled potential, what's going on with Torreira, but it would be a decent means to an end. Life isn't FIFA, and on the best of days, Arsenal don't have the best negotiators and doing the best negotiating. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards, people. But for me, you know, it's anybody's guess what happens. I think personally, out of all the 4 midfielders that are on loan, I think Joe comes back. I think Maitland's putting himself in the shop window. I think Torreira is gone. He's not adapted to life off the field. And I think I have small hope that Guendouzi can reconcile with Arteta. But personally, I think the writing's on the wall in that regards, people. And it is firmly what it is in that regards. So, yeah, man, that's that, you know. That's that. We spoke about that. Also, people, Saka is one player of the month again. I think him and... Is it him and Arteta? Or him and Leno? I think they've been... I think Arteta... I'm not too sure if Arteta's been nominated, but I think Leno and Saka have been nominated for Premier League Player of the Month. Voting is finished, so let's see what can be done. You know, Saka didn't have the best of games in his last game, but he deserves to win the Player of the Month. And as you can see, it's 2 in a row for him, and it shows how good he is. And it's all benefits for him. It shows how good he is, but it's almost disgraceful that Arsenal have had to over-rely on a teenager, people. He was fantastic in the month of January, as you lot know, people. He did his thing. I'd love to know who came second and first. As you lot know, here it is. Saka claimed 46% of the vote. Smith Rowe's done well as well, got himself into 3rd place. And Holding needs to learn how to mark his men. The last 2 games have shown that, but the build-up in relation to the goals haven't been his fault, and he's had a decent season in that regards, people. Moving away from that, we've once again been linked with Manor Solomon. Personally, I think his agent is just using us to get a move. You know, Arsenal seem to do things with a bit of discrepancy and a bit discreet. This seems a bit too of an open pursuit. It seems like Arsenal and other names are being used to get his client a move, really and truly. He's confirmed Arsenal talks. You know, he's represented by a super agent who, you know, Zahavi, who makes a lot of profit. So it's every thingy for that. As you can see here, people, this is the first time I've read the article, but what could you see here? Manor Solomon, and he's a good player, as you lot saw in the Champions League, has confirmed that he's in ongoing talks with several Premier League clubs and admits a summer move is a realistic option. So what has the 21-year-old indirectly told you? He wants to leave. He wants to come to the Premier League or one of these reputable clubs. He's in talks with several clubs. Now, that could be putting pressure on his current employers, pressure on clubs he's legitimately interested in, clubs that legitimately have interest in him. You know, it's all playing coy between him and his agents to get that best move and all of those sort of things, people. There obviously is still a long way to go, so he hasn't jumped fully in and said Arsenal are fully into him. and things like that. As you lot can see here, though, Football London also understands that the agent in question is involved in talks between the club and the player. Um, He's reportedly in touch with Arsenal's technical director, Edu. Now, that could be over different clients as well. That could be over different things. You know, it's a small world in football and whatnot. Apparently, he was offered in May 2020. So he's, you know, anyone that, all of these players at Shakhtar, you know, if we're going to go for someone from Shakhtar, personally, I would like it to be that midfielder, Antonio. But we all know why people go to Shakhtar. They get their feet wet, they develop, and then they look to move on. And he wants to get his client to move. His client clearly wants to move. He's 21 years of age. He is a good player. Sure, he scored against Madrid. I wouldn't be against it, but I think it's all was people. He said, as you lot can see here, there are talks with teams from England. He told Israeli reporters, there are things that can happen in the summer. My dream is to play in England, and it also seems to me the most realistic option for me, and teams in England can pay. So they know teams in England have money. He's making himself available. And as you lot know, money talks and the rest of the stuff walks. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards. But I just think it's paper talk. You know, if you've been reading the papers in the last few days, we're getting Ndika, we're getting Firpo, when we're bringing back Ramsey, we're getting bare man Ndika, if I haven't said it already. You know, we're getting bare players, people. So again, it is what it is in that regards. So I'm not too sure. I'm really not too sure. What are you lot saying? You know, Daniel Brown is saying in relation to the young centre mids out on loan, none of them have a future at Arsenal. And I think that's a realistic outlook on it. We'd have to see. Andrew, I share your opinion. I do hope Guendouzi can redeem himself under Mikel Arteta. We've heard at times David Luiz has been thingy, a disruptive influence. So if he can, in theory, he must have redeemed himself to be involved. So if he can do that, anyone can. But I personally think it's done, man. I think it's done. Who do you think is our best option for a second left back? There's a lot, but I would like Luca Netz. He is 17. He was formerly a winger. He is making his inroads, but there's resale value there. I think he's going to be a good player. And I personally think it's not too long before Bayern Munich or one of them go for him, people. I'd return Ceballos and sell El Nene. Personally, there's everyone in midfield. You know, there's Partey is the only one I feel could stay. You know, I personally like Maitland-Niles, Guendouzi, Torreira, and Joe. So I'm not too sure if any of them would be first choices, but I'd all look to you. I definitely feel three of those names could be utilized. You know, Maitland-Niles probably plays right back for me, but he would have a place in my squad. Probably Guendouzi would be central to my plans. Joe Willock, it is what it is. But, you know, El Nene should be gone. He's going to have a year left. And again, he's shown you the good, bad, and the ugly. Ceballos hasn't done nothing really to suggest signing him permanently. So it is what it is in that regards, man. And even Xhaka should probably be sold as well, really. And I'm not trying to scapegoat him. It just is what it is, man. I wouldn't mind Tariq Mitchell. He played all right in the last game for them, man, there. So I wouldn't mind him. To be fair, I don't know if Torreira was being used initially under Arteta. I just think it's a thing when you're not looking at your mentally, when you're just looking like you're not on this thing, it don't matter how good you are, you just can't really have them in there. Please stop spamming. Big up DG, but I think we slightly overhyped him. Even Smith Rowe stayed and got what they deserve. Don't get me wrong, he's exceptional, but even Eddie got good goal scoring record than him. Not sure who you're referring to. I assume Balogun. Fair play, my guy. Fair play. He is a young player, but you know, if he's not on this, I don't even think Torreira's height's a problem. It's just, are you down for this thing in England? Like, are you down to be here? If you're not down to be here, then you need to keep it moving. And that's why, you know, out of all of them, Torreira's probably the one I'd keep the most. I think he's the best out of all of them on his day and what Torreira's had. But there's got to be a reason, you know. Emre's one was a bit mad, you know, but you've had bare couple managers now and nobody's, you know, you've kind of had a fall from grace under them all. So what's gone right for you? What's gone wrong? And we can't afford to carry passengers. We can't afford to keep young players who think that you know this is anything less than a privilege for them. We can't keep experienced players who truly are just here to pick up pay packets. We can't keep people here that for whatever reason on the field or off the field with excluding extraordinary circumstances that are not down for the cause. We need people that want to be part of this thing. It's as simple as that, you know. And mentally, anyone that's not here just needs to keep it moving, man. Torreira has shown he's a Premier League player. It's just he's not down for the cause, man. He's not down for the cause. This is it. You'll have it. I think he's contracted until 2023, to be fair, but the point still remains from Cam. So it is what it is. It's a slow news day. There actually isn't much to speak about from an Arsenal perspective. Get your questions in, people. You know, please make sure you're hitting the like button. It doesn't cost a thing. There's 153 likes. We can do slightly better in that regards. Surely, people. Let me see if there's anything else. It's a very slow news day. Very slow news day. And I haven't switched. I personally haven't even switched on to Leeds mode, people. I'm still yet to really concede that we've got a threat in Leeds to come. I just really have been just feeling sorry for myself as an Arsenal fan this week. As you look can see here, people, we've been linked with Jose Gaia again of Juventus, people. Man said Juventus, of Valencia again, just linking us with left backs. Apparently, he wants to remain at his club for what it's worth, though. So, it is what it is, man. Xhaka needs to be kept. He's a leader, Swiss international, and very experienced. Experience alone doesn't do anything for me. Xhaka is too hot and cold. I think as long as Xhaka is going to be central to this club's midfield plans, we're only going to do what we keep doing. That's not because I don't like him. That's just a fact. You know, Xhaka isn't as bad as people make out. I actually think he's a good player. He's just what we have, you know, anytime that he's central to any club's plans, it's just not here at the top level. It's like when we used to, Giroud's a good player, but we look to Giroud to be our 20 league goal man rather than a squad player. I think at best, Xhaka is a squad player. You're right, though. He is a leader in things, but I just personally feel the cons are not outweighed by the pros of Xhaka. And Xhaka is one of those players, which we have a lot of them. They will have good moments of form. They will play good in moments and patches, but that consistency over a 38-game period, I don't know if it's going to be there, you know, and that's it. You know, I do think people make a lot about Xhaka's in athleticism, but I just don't. I just feel I see what he is like. We tried to run through him, and I just don't think it's make the game run through him, and I just don't think his levels really. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Your views on Ryan Christie? I like him, but don't think he's going to take the club forward at this moment in time. Yes, my bro, how much points do you honestly think we can get from our next 7 games? Bro, I'm no, pardon me, mind reader, but let me actually look. Because for me, February is February's one thing. That March catalogue of games. And this is why I wanted to see siege mentality. This is why I thought not that I thought, but I would have liked to have seen certain things kind of eradicated from our game in the build up to this month, when I don't think it has happened in that regard. Where's the fixture lists on the website? Why did I try and do this on the website, people? I don't know why I tried to do this on the website. I want to know the fixtures to come. So, yeah, man, let's look at the fixtures to come. Let's deal with what's currently in front of us. We've got Leeds at home after drawing away, people. That's the thing. I don't think keeping Xhaka is bad at all, man. I don't think keeping Xhaka is bad as long as he's a squad player. As long as he remains first name on the team sheet and the outstanding partner for Partey, we're only going to get so far. Moving away from that, though, looking at it, you know, the Leeds game, they're a good team. We drew against us. I need 3 points, but I can't convincingly say 3 points. You know, I'll take another draw. So let me just spit my thoughts. The City game, again, because of travel arrangements, because of the fast turnarounds of games we're playing already, because of, you know, just the amount of game, you know, the high intensity game is going to take a lot of our players. There's going to be a decision for Arteta to make. You know, I want to see the strongest teams possible in all these games. You know, can you play your strongest team in the first leg and then play them against City? You know, who are you going to put in for Benfica and miss out? You know, are you going to throw the games? You know, we'll have to see. We'll really have to see. But again, you know, we've got Leeds, Man City, Leicester, Burnley, Spurs. Let's focus just on the Premier League. West Ham, boy. So that's what, 2. I think this, I can't count probably, but Liverpool. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's our 7 games. Not like hit the like button, people. Please make sure you hit the like button, man. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't answer it properly, man, because I don't know. I think we will beat Leeds, but I can't say that with my chest. You know, that Leeds game could be 3 points dropped. You know, I hope a surprise would happen against Man City, but that's probably the one game you're looking at and saying that's a complete write-off. You know, the Leeds game, you're thinking you can win it. You're thinking we should win it. You're thinking what Arsenal might turn up. We might get us in true Arsenal fashion. We might lose to Leeds and beat City, but I think the City game's a write-off. Leicester away always scares me. Seen them drop stupid points this season, but I think that's an L. So do you know what? I don't know, man. I want to see form, but I think we'll beat Leeds. I'm going to say Leeds win, loss, just about win. So 6 points so far. I want to. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. West Ham are informed. Jose shown he knows how to play against us. Burnley make it hard for us. Leicester away is tough. I don't know. I can only. I just have a good feeling about the Leeds game, and it's not even with I'm not even saying it with my chest. I just have a good feeling about the Leeds game, so I'll say 3 points, man. Apart from that, I don't know. I really don't know. Beyond that, so we'll have to see, man. As you lot can see here, people, I was learning how to connect OBS Studio to my laptop, really, just how to use it on stream. I want to do the Football Manager thing for you lot. So it is what it is, bro. We've got a hard run, a very hard run, very, very, very hard run, tough run, man. You know, the games are, and this is why mentality was it for me. Mentality is everything. It's everything, because again, I wanted to see us go into the Leeds and Villa games and put in a performance and look like a team that were angry at dropping points previously, and we are improving defensively, but we're still making the same old mistakes. So I'm not too sure on what we can do, really and truly. I'm really not too sure. It's down to the boys to show me what they can do. If they show us something, we can get behind it. Apart from that, I don't know, man. There is a must win. They're all must wins. They're all must wins. But I can't convincingly say with my heart, that we're beating. You know, I expect to beat Burnley. Leeds, I don't know. But Spurs, I don't know. But I agree with you. You need 6 minimum, 9 points without a doubt. You need that, man. This ain't the real Fabrizio Romano, but he said Partey is getting injured so much because he's doing 2-man's job. Xhaka is offering nothing offensively or defensively. With all these cuts, Gooner's heat needs to be on the owner and KSC fanboys. Kroenke stripping Arsenal of all its assets. He has been doing that. The minute we started beating West Brom and these teams and we saw a couple of passes, we all just shut up about it, and you're seen as negative. That should be the one thing we keep the same energy. Until that man or that organization leaves this football club, it's a myth. Do you reckon, Daniel, you know, we have one of the best defensive records, and that's facts, but I think you're right and wrong. I do agree we're lacking at the top, but we definitely have the players to score more and be more convincing. We're not anywhere near the top goal scorers. So some of that has to come down to a lack of personnel, be it in midfield or up front. Some of that has to come down to the coaching. On the flip side, big up Arteta for the coaching. You're right. We are one of the best. We have one of the best records defensively. But I'll ask you this, and any fan, you know, regardless of that record, without looking at statistics, do you 100% in your heart feel we're a good defensive side? Not on our day. Do you feel we're a good defensive side? You don't, because you're still concerned over set pieces. We still present a lot of problems. We've still got individual mistakes, whether it is David Luiz or Cedric in recent weeks. So I do think that them things there it is a result of hard work. You don't get there overnight, but I do think it flatters us a bit. I do. So with it, I think we lack at the back, and I think we lack at both ends. I just think we lack everywhere, really. You know, we've got a couple of good players. You know, we ain't got the players who can create. Our players are not scoring consistently. Defensively, you know, these players go through good and bad moments. So I'm not too sure, man. And this is it. You know, if you can't score goals and you're really struggling to keep them out in recent weeks, you're in a bit of a problem. You know, we've scored 2 more goals than Newcastle, who had Joe Linton and probably Wilson's carrying that team. Joe Willock's even contributed. No matter what way we shape it, you are right, though, my guy, in that, you know, we need to do a lot more. The players need to take responsibility, but it has to come down to a bit of management. Xhaka passes into the final third are good, but he's not mobile enough. I just think Xhaka, I agree. I think Xhaka, you know, I think Xhaka isn't a bad player. But for me, I just think He needs too much time on the ball. The cons of his game are not outweighing the pros. And you just fundamentally, I don't know what I'm getting from you. And someone that's been playing for Switzerland, someone that's been at this, was one of the few players that was here when we was in the Champions League, for someone that is a leader and all of these things, I shouldn't be saying this. And I'm at the point now with a lot of these men. I like Xhaka. It's like whether it's Xhaka, Bellerin, Lacazette, Maitland-Niles, even Pepe to a degree. Recent weeks he's doing all right. There's too much hot and cold players. There's too many. One week you're looking like you turn a corner. Beyond that, you're not. So I'm not too sure, man. I'm at the stage now. Next season, I just want to have a consistent midfield. I want to have a consistent right back. Basic things, really and truly. Gooner, Guru, I do agree. I think the table shows clearly. The table doesn't lie. It might flatter some people from here and there, but it doesn't lie. 10 defeats. Forgive me if I'm wrong in February. It does not lie, man. Really doesn't lie. And I don't disagree with Arteta trying to improve us defensively. You can't listen. Defense is the foundations, but something's just not. I just think we're at that level. To be honest, I honestly think Arteta can improve us a lot, but we're at that level where I don't think we're going to improve across several aspects. The one thing I think Arteta can do a bit more is offensive, but I just feel with our defense, there's only so far we're going to get without better players. It's as simple as that. Like I'm not trying to scapegoat Bellerin. He's just not levels. He's not been playing bad, but it's just not levels. You've hit a glass ceiling to a degree. It's like you need better players, and forget about better players that are more switched on mentally, because you can't account for some of these mistakes. Couple minutes into the game, Cedric, who's been in good form, it's a must win for us. Brainless decision 30 seconds before half time. Yes, David Luiz was done unlucky with that red card, but he's out of position. Holdings had a good season, but against Aston Villa and against Wolves, not his fault. He didn't start the errors, but he's not been aware of his man. These things are proven costly. It's going to harm Arsenal Football Club. It's as simple as that, man. Our press isn't there consistently. We're over relying on a 19-year-old Saka. Tierney's never involved when he's not been involved. And when he is never involved, we're screaming we ain't got creativity because of our left back. These things are true, but these are the problems. These are the problems we have, man. I think Marie's sort of started getting going, and I think the injury shagged him. So now he's back to square one, man. And that's it. And that shows the imbalance. We're improving, but we're still not there yet. And also, you don't score, you can't win games. And also, you would say being able to hit the target, that clinicalness, I think that's on the players. Because like against Villa, because of the second half, we made it look a bit even in terms of shots. But you look at them, I think we both had 13 shots. They've got like 8 on target. We haven't got that. So we're not hitting the target. We've come a long way from crossing for the sake of crossing. Don't get it twisted, but there's a lot more to come, man. Bro, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is going to cost a pretty penny, bro. That's anything from 50 to 100 million, really. And 50's being nice, really. It's the English premium, and football's about what you can hustle now. So it's what it is. Probably don't, man. Big up yourself, George. I hope you're doing well. E.T., big up yourself. Neuhaus is the guy. He's sick, bro. I've been banging on about him. Probably destined to go to Bayern Munich, but we can dream, man. And the thing is, fans are worried about possession for the possession's sake. I'm not getting that Arteta, but he doesn't help it when he comes out and say we've completely dominated the game. We confuse as football fans playing well for 10 minutes or in 20-minute stages as doing enough to win the game. The game's for 90 minutes, Having possession, having more shots, all of these things are irrelevant. What matters is who has put the ball in the back of the opponent's net and walked away with the 3 points. And too often than not, I don't think Wolves care that we had the best, as people saying, we had the best 20 minutes in the game of our season. I don't think Villa care about several things. We need to be, we need to play well consistently. And what annoys me, and again down to the players, when we lose, you never get the vibe that the other team is pulling these 3 points over the players' dead bodies. We hand it away. We might huff and puff, but it's easy there. Arsenal will give a poor mistake, and then you just have to set up defensively solid, and they won't break you down. You might even get a second if you counter-attack them and things like that. So we've got a lot to improve, and I do think Arteta has to pull it out a bit. But I do think there's a lot of it. Like, you can give someone water, but you can't help them drink. If you talk about wanting to win Premier Leagues and get in the top 4 and things, he shouldn't have to tell you 30 minutes before the end of a half away from home to stay in your position. There's some things he can't foul, he can't thingy for, in my opinion. The players are not consistent. Facts, you know. What have we got here? Love for the super chat, my guy. Deluded. We need to start looking for a striker. Have you seen Andre Silva from Frankfurt? To be fair with you, I'm sure he scored 2 goals. Love for the super chat. I'm sure he scored 2 goals. When Hertha Berlin played them. I could be wrong. Don't mind him, but he's been around a couple teams now. I'd probably give him a pass still. But I need to see something to be confirmed a bit. Every now and again, you see a bit of these strikers and, you know, these sort of strikers. I'm not too sure, man. It's not that I don't rate him. It's just, I'm not really behind it. Personally, Alan K said, first time watching this channel, excellent view of the Arsenal status. I've just subscribed. Appreciate that, Alan. Thank you very much for that. If you haven't, like Alan, hit that like button. Please make sure you hit the like button. Please make sure you've hit that subscription button. Make sure you're following across Twitch, Deluded Gooner 187. You know, once again, as G-Med said, hit that like button, man. You know, and this is where I'm saying people are overdoing it. You've lost 10 games. You've conceded how many goals? Your defense can't be that good. You know, people just you can't just look at the improvement we've made and just think it's all hunky-dory. You know, we were happy to be 10th because we were poor a couple months before. But if we apply balance, we know it's not levels. And that's where I think people are getting a bit excited, man. And this is where it's down to the players as well, man. I'd probably sell Lacazette, but I understand if they was to let him run down his deal, to be fair with you, because again, where are we going to find another number 2 striker and things like that? I would like to sell and see what could be done. You don't go on AFTV no more. That's not true. Well, they haven't let me on in a couple thingies. I don't think I'm going to get let back on there, but it is what it is. You know, shout out AFTV. I don't think Arteta tried. To be fair, what combinations could he try, bro? Like, they're all crap, really, apart from if Saka's not there, Pepe of late and things like that. I just feel there's a bit of a handbrake. I just feel there's, you know, we improve a bit defensively, we stop attacking. We start improving in terms of an attack and we're back to conceding sort of cheap goals. I don't think we press enough as well. Should have never let Aaron Ramsey go in the first place, chipped in with the goals. To be fair with you, we'll never know as to why he actually left and didn't leave and all of these sort of things now. 1 minute, his wage demands were unrealistic. The next, it was Raul Sanye. We'll never know. I do think people look at him with rose tints. Yeah, man, he probably shouldn't have went in the first place. But again, if he did want some of those wages, it is what it is. Who's winning the league? Can't look past Manchester City at this moment in time, can you? Personally, Football Manager has conditioned me to believe. Exactly, you know, you don't always have to sell it, and it's up to Lacazette, really. It's up to Lacazette. He's in the form. Personally, I don't know. I'll probably do a stream about it tomorrow, but I'm not against the Lacazette signing a new deal. I'm not for it, man. DG is beyond them tabloid content ranters. I appreciate the big praise, my guy. Love for that. Let's get one more question in, people, before I keep it moving. There's 315 of you in here. Can we have 315 likes, man? Come on, people, man. I don't ask for much, and it helps me be shown in more people's recommended. You think Chelsea will finish top 4? Everything's changing, isn't it? On one hand, I thought on part of this season, I thought Chelsea and Spurs were rubber stamped. I thought Leicester rubber stamped, United rubber stamped, Liverpool rubber stamped, Man City rubber stamped and out of it. And you've seen a bunch of changing. I think with Tuchel, I think they'll get there, but who knows, man? It's interesting. It's absolutely interesting to see, man. What have we got here? I still don't see Martinelli as an out-and-out striker. I think he's someone that could play across all front 3 positions, man. I see a bit of Alexis Sanchez / Suarez, number 9 in him. I think left and right wing, he can able to perfect that. Who cares? Just as long as he's performing, man. We'll have to see. Obviously, he has to define himself. Are you a striker with the ability to play on the wings, or are you a winger with the ability to play up front? We'll have to see, man. You know, I hope Aubameyang gets back as well, Rosie. I'm sure we all do, man. Are you still? I've never been convinced. I've never been not convinced. I don't see enough to really, truly, beyond just being the manager and me wanting him to do well. I can't just condone everything. And I don't think it's hardly a case of, like I said earlier, pitchforks for the guy. There's a lot of concerns. Me right now in February the 10th, how I feel about him is the one thing I have an issue with now is the favoritism thing. Like, I don't understand certain sort of things. Shy Guy said, can you shout out Mama Dina? We're listening while cooking. Shout out Mumsy, man. Shout out Mumsy. Big up Mumsy and that. Hopefully it's a good munch. I know you're evidently not helping enough if you're out here typing and stuff. See, Mumsy's there peeling potatoes and them things there, and you're not doing that. But big up you lot out there, man, and big up everyone else listening. And maybe age is catching up with Aubameyang. Age catches up with everybody. Age caught up with Cristiano Ronaldo. That's not a bad thing. And what I mean by that is, it's just about adapting. Cristiano Ronaldo can obviously, if you brought him around me, he'll twist me up and be able to run past me, and you just have to fight him because he'll be embarrassing you. But it's not the Ronaldo of his heyday to a degree at Real Madrid or United, in that he's just running and twisting up guys. He's more in the box all the time. He's perfecting other things. Age catches up with everyone, but you need to adapt to it. Age caught up with Rooney. Rooney had to adapt how he plays. Vardy's probably had to adapt. He's a bit different, but probably had to adapt. David Silva. How many you've seen David Silva play as a winger, as a cam, as an A? All these things. It adapts. But that's where I'm annoyed with the club, because if we know that, then how are we going to use him? Surely Aubameyang out wide is unsustainable. Just because he's able to get through that, how much physically are you taking out of him, really? So we need to know how we're going to use him for these 3 years, because really, we can't afford this unscoring season. He's got 5 Premier League goals. At this moment in time, can you say he's going to get 10? Can you say he's going to get 10? I think 20's gone out the window now. Let's hope he can get a 12 or something. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Please hit the like button, man. He did do a little throwback dribble, but that's not his game really and truly anymore. Fair play if that's what you're on, but I'm tired of the roundabouts that we're doing. I prefer him up front, but you see, if you're going to play Aubameyang up front, you need another striker like Lacazette that can hold up the ball, but you also have to play to man's strengths, pace in behind. There's no use having Aubameyang where his general play isn't the best and he's known for pace to play in front of people. Play him on, he wants to be on the last shoulder. Things like that. We'll have to see, people, man. We'll have to see what happens, man. So yeah, man. And to be fair, there's a different, Andrew, I agree with you, but the way Leicester play to Vardy's strengths and the way we have never played to Aubameyang's strengths is uncanny, people. It really is true. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And like you can see, Mohammed, we've seen bare different versions of Ronaldo. We've seen Cristiano Ronaldo, the one that can do a million step overs and score from 40 yards as a world-class player. We've seen him become this elite, a bit of that, but more of a goal scorer at Madrid. And you saw him, still be an elite player, but more of a goal scorer, less showboat in more decisive moments and stuff like that. It's adapt or survive. The best players adapt. I do think we can adapt to Aubameyang, but we can't afford to carry passengers. And we've got to, we've got to get ourselves out of this somehow, people. But for now, I'm going to get out of here, man. We've been here just over an hour. It's 5:30 now. I might say 5:30. It's 7 minutes past 5. I think it's about time to get a little bit of food. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Please make sure you hit the like button. I'll be back again tomorrow around a similar time. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm meant to be on Hugh Wizzy's channel at 11, so you won't get an 11:30 stream. So I'll probably be back here at 4 p.m. So make sure you're here again, people. On that note, though, I'm out of here, man. Please make sure you take care of yourselves, and yeah, I'll see you lot in a piece, man.